Now, first up, once bitten, twice shy, they say. Not when it comes really to the BJP and the Prime Minister. The opposition is up in arms over his remarks now on minorities. The CPIM has even taken the matter to the top court, accusing Prime Minister of hate speech. But the Prime Minister is undeterred. Prime Minister has doubled down on his earlier stand, accusing the Congress of appeasement politics. Less than 3 days, this comes, of course, before the polling begins in Karnataka. The Prime Minister has raked up the contentious Hanuman Chalisa episode from Bengaluru. Let's listen into what he said.
ये कांग्रेस की कर्नाटका की सरकार का काम देखिए। अपनी छोटी सी दुकान में एक गरीब आदमी भक्ति भाव से प्रभु हनुमान जी का स्मरण करते हुए हनुमान चालीसा सुन रहा था, उसको लहू लहान कर दिया गया। आप कल्पना कर सकते हैं, कांग्रेस के राज में हनुमान चालीसा सुनना भी गुनाह हो जाता है।
Now, meanwhile, the Congress understandably is outraged, and the Karnataka Home Minister and several other ministers in the cabinet have demanded that Prime Minister Modi be disqualified.
Now, you spoke about the Prime Minister's statements that he's made against the minority communities, and also he's targeted the Congress government as well in the state with the Hanuman Chalisa remarks. How are you viewing this sharp attack just so close on the heels of the elections? You've even gone on to demand his disqualification by the Election Commission.
Every alert mind, elite, intellectual feel today that Modi is giving hate speeches. Modi is going against one religion or the other, which is not allowed by the code of conduct, by the norms, by just even Indian mind cannot just tolerate this. That way, a man of a state of a prime minister. That's why I told that these utterances are nothing but the offences. And Election Commission should take immediate note of this, and they should initiate action for disqualifying Mr. Modi in the election scenario.
Now, the Congress, though, on its part, is not averse to raising the pitch and lowering the discourse. Party leaders today staged a protest against the Prime Minister. This was pertaining to, of course, the funding issue in the state of, Karnataka and all the issue that's been happening, especially in the top court. Today we saw Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, who was supposed to be there. Instead, we saw the Chief Minister himself leading that protest at the Vidhan Sabha in front of the Gandhi statue. During that time, there were some slogans that also connected the Prime Minister to Yamraj. Now, on one hand, we have, these sort of statements that are coming in from the BJP, and the Congress is taking objection to Prime Minister's statements. On the other, you have Congress leaders who are taking the political discourse really low by making personal attacks at the Prime Minister as well. So who is right, who is wrong? And at this point in time, with this sort of a discourse really playing out ahead of the Karnataka polls, how much of an impact it is going to have on the minds of the voters is the question. I'm going to open this up to our panel of guests. Vijay Prasad, spokesperson of the BJP, is with us. Dr. Nikul Patel, political analyst. Vijay, senior journalist, is also joining us today on the broadcast. So let me take this across. Firstly, here to Dr. Nikul Patel, political analyst, with us. Dr. Patel, on one hand, you're saying that the Prime Minister and the BJP really is coming out with the divisive mindset. They're stooping to new lows. On the other, you have your own netas who are doing name calling. The Gali politics continues. Where does the buck stop?
Actually, both the parties must realize about the dignity of the election and the democratic process which country is facing right now. And I feel that when you are into a political speech and you are addressing the people of the country, you must be talking of their basic needs and problems. But what is happening in the campaigning is that now more towards religious discussion is going on. And if we are talking especially of Bharatiya Janata Party, Honorable Prime Minister, I don't know why he is not talking about his 10 years work. He must definitely talk about the people's work, what he had done, what Vikas Yatra, and what he's talking about everything. But we find that in his regular speeches, he is targeting Congress, and then he is targeting Congress as Muslims. And then again, he's coming with Hindu religion. Suppose he's talking of Karnataka event, then he must also discuss about what happened in Manipur, how double engine government had was a failure over there, and at that time, Honorable Prime Minister was not answering to it. So I think both the way, if we see, both has to think on it, because we are into the largest democratic process right now, and they must feel about the integrity of it.
Okay, Mr. Vijay Prasad, I'll come to you here, because the Congress keeps saying this, that during the time of polls, why are such communal sensitive issues being taken up? Firstly, your take on the charge that there is a deliberate attempt to polarize, be it the Hubli murder, be it the raking up of Hanuman Chalisa, talking about the funds for minorities. All of this is done with the sole purpose of polarizing the nation ahead of the election, is the charge.
Deepak, is this question for me?
Yes.
Deepak, is this question for me?
Yes, Mr. Prasad.
Okay. Deepak, very good evening. See, the statement from Prime Minister is a very valid one. Okay, he's not quoting from any fiction book. He's really quoting. He's really saying what is actually happening in Karnataka today. It is the Congress. It is the Congress government who has resorted to a severe law and order situation in Karnataka. He's quoting the fact, and he's telling the people how the situation is in Karnataka today if the power is given to Congress. See, actually, what is happening is, Deepak, if Hindus should Hindus fear for reciting Hanuman Chalisa? Should Hindus, after reciting Hanuman Chalisa, should get trashed from the Muslim community? What are you saying, Deepak? This is exactly the situation. See, it is not the BJP who is trying to polarizing. It is the Congress who is trying to get into the appeasement politics by forgetting that they are not the government only for one particular Muslim community. They are for all. They are totally forgetting that. And at the same time, if we recite Hanuman Chalisa, why should the Muslim community should get agitated and try to hit the shopkeeper? I see the incident in Bangalore Nagartapet issue is still fresh in the minds of the people. The law and order situation in Karnataka has reached its nadir. And in this election, BJP is going for the polls on the basis of the 10 years development agenda of the BJP government and its contribution to the nation and to the state of Karnataka. And it is the Congress who is trying to resort to appeasement politics, and they don't have anything a concrete agenda for the people of Karnataka. Or see, if you look into their the manifesto, what they have released, do you call it as a manifesto? Do you really call it as a manifesto without vision? The manifesto without the vision is only for commission. The manifesto is for the commission. If you look into the manifesto that we have given, it's only for the developmental agenda. How Bharat
Okay. Primary, let's not get into the Congress manifesto. That's another issue. Let's stick to the question at hand. That the Congress, of course, makes this charge of polarization on the BJP. Raising one-off incidents is what they claim. They say some personal issues. They are saying that the approach of the BJP towards these crimes is to give it a communal color. Is the charge. Okay, I'll come back to you, Mr. Prasad. You can respond once again. I've given you ample time to respond. I'll also bring in Mr. Grover. Mr. Grover, we've seen the Hanuman Chalisa issue, of course, was a big talking point before the Karnataka Assembly elections, the Prime Minister raking this up once again ahead of, the southern part of the state, of course, going into polling. How much of an impact does it have on the minds of the voters, do you feel? Considering a series of events that have taken place in the last few months, do you feel that politically, of course, this will remain in the minds of the people?
Well, see, Deepak, I just want to put things on record. If you remember, Uday Garudachar, who was the member of Legislative Assembly from Chikpet area, he had gone on record and clarified that the shopkeeper who was beaten up was not playing Hanuman Chalisa, and that, the issue had taken a communal color, and he believes in communal harmony and had, diffused the tension which had become a talking point at that time with Tejas
Mr.
Surya
Grover,
and Shubha
what happened then, while the MLA, of course, said that, while some of the Congress leaders said that, in the FIR, of course, didn't mention Hanuman Chalisa in the beginning.
So
Later,
we are going
the victim
what is
came
there
on
in
record and he
in
said it
FIR.
happened.
Yeah, the incident did happen,
Yeah.
but the fact that
But the victim
the
also
shopkeeper
came on
clarified-
record and he spoke to multiple media channels and he said that he was playing the Hanuman Chalisa. That's where the issue also came up.
Yeah, so this is something where I'm talking about the BJP, which is raking up this issue again. The Prime Minister talking about it today. So who do we believe? The MLA of the constituency who went on record, or the Prime Minister who once again touched this point of view? Now let's look at the series of incidents which have happened also in the last week. Be it the Neha Hire murder, or be it the Ruxana murder, or be it the Bakale family killings, where 4 people were killed in Cuttack. Now, the entire thing, somewhere down the line, we've seen a communal color being given to this kind of, crimes. These are crimes which are not communal in nature, but, crimes of passion or crimes of, revenge, which have been distorted in that way that, only selectively it is picked up by the opposition and being raked up. What appalls me the most is also the fact that, we are seeing this campaigning going on for such a long time. Bengaluru today, especially the city, is suffering from several issues: the heat wave, the water crisis, traffic jams. None of the political parties or the candidates have come up and, spoken about the issues that concern you, me, and the common citizens. They are only looking at, how to split the vote in terms of community, caste, religion. That's something which is, really shocks us that, politicians are not looking at the grave crisis that Bangalore city or Karnataka is facing today, be it the devolution or the other things.
Well, interesting that you say that, Grover. We, of course, do hope that, the country reaches a scenario where the only political discourse is based on development, is improving the country, is based on all of this. But, during elections, such things do come up time and again, and we've seen that in the past. Now, we, of course, cannot control what our politicians are saying, but the question here is, of course, the people have the choice to decide. But what I was also asking Mr. Prasad, I'm going to go back to Dr. Patel and ask, how much of an impact are such statements, such incidents going to leave on the minds of the voters? And in turn, how is it going to really have a bearing on the results as well?
Firstly, if we look at the history of Karnataka, we've seen that Pradhan Mantri take a Bajrang Bali statement and they lost Karnataka from Congress. So now if we see, nothing is going to impact the people of Karnataka, especially the entire country, because they have heard this continuously, and now they are not interested in all this religious talk or some communal talk, because people know that their basic needs are food, water, jobs, and all these things. And now when we look at how the campaigning is going on, I think Election Commission of India, which is in charge of the entire election, must be able to bifurcate about the hate speeches and what are the good speeches for the people of country. But over here, as what action taken on Surjewala, I think he was banned for 48 hours for some derogative statement on Hema Malini. So election commission role is important in this case, but people of the country had understand their basic problem. And I think now this kind of speeches are not going to make any effect or anything on the mindset of the people, because their basic needs are not being satisfied, as what my panelist Grover sir said, that what are the need of the people right now, that is not being spoken by any politician, and that is what the level of politics had gone down in our country. As a political analyst, I feel that every political
But
party,
Dr.
even
Patel, the question
especially
here is, there is a narrative that every political party comes out with. The BJP has coming out with one narrative. The Congress today is protesting, saying, well, the center has betrayed the farmers, not done enough for Karnataka. That is the narrative that they are coming up with. Now, during all these narratives, it's important politically to counter these narratives as well, because at the end of the day, each narrative, puts one party at an advantage, the other party at a disadvantage probably. So, the question here is, this narrative that's being said, has the Congress really failed to counter it in the right manner? With multiple instances where the BJP keeps saying that, well, it is appeasement of the Congress that's leading to incidents repeatedly happening. Sometimes the defense that comes in from some of the leaders of the Congress party, even while matters are, being investigated or at a very preliminary stage. So, are you giving into the BJP narrative or playing into their hands is the question?
No, Deepak, see,
for
Deepak,
me,
the question
No,
is,
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you, Mr. Prasad. That was for Mr. Patel. I'll come back to you.
okay.
I'll come back to you, Mr. Prasad. Just a moment. Dr. Patel.
See, now when we see since last 10 years, and if we see how this BJP government came into power and how appeasement politics is being charged on Congress is also replying to it. But again, if we see the highest stretcher of our constitution, Pradhan Mantri in his speeches regularly come with this kind of things, then now people are thinking that now what is all these things? We are interested in this. We are interested in what is about what has happened about our gas, what had happened about petrol, diesel prices, what will be future of our sons who are new education policy, what will be the implication. These things are not coming into the fray, and that is why I don't think that people will be affected by such kind of regional political statements, and definitely people will look beyond it, and the country will vote for their own needs and problems rather than going into the politics of communalism and religion and all these things.
Okay, Mr. Prasad, come in.
Deepak,
Mr. Prasad? Mr. Prasad, if you can hear me, I want you to come in and respond.
no, Deepak, I lost you for a couple of seconds. Can you repeat the question?
I want you to counter what Mr. Patel was saying, that this sort of narrative will not really reflect on the minds of the people. They even said that earlier, such narratives came in during the assembly elections, it failed. And of course, the charge always that has come in against the BJP of attempting to really disrupt harmony, polarize ahead of the elections.
No. See, Deepak, it is unfortunate that the other two panelists, they are not talking anything about the law and order situation in Karnataka. If BJP talks about the Bajrang Dal, they immediately shift their goalpost and talk about NEP, gas, cylinder, education policy, all other things. But they don't talk about the Kali politics, the abuse politics, what Congress started. They don't talk about when Congress say Yamraj, Sadaka Gunda, Ravan, Vishusarp, all those things. See, these people, that means they are towing the line of the Congress. See, we are going to the polls. Whether at national level or at the state level. We are going to the polls based on 10 years development, what Modi has given to this country. We are going. See, that is our strong USP. But that does not mean. When someone is targeted, let's say Hindus are targeted, we take it low lying. Who are going to talk for them? Who are going to stand up for them? At the same time, when we talk about the development, we also make sure that when Hindus are targeted, we also take up that issue very strongly and we oppose that. It is the Congress ideology to make sure that when they are staring at the defeat, they resort to abuse politics. They don't want anything else. Beat anyone, beat Rahul Gandhi or Mallikarjun Kharge, Sonia Gandhi, DK Shivakumar. You name the Congress politician, they resort to
Okay, Mr.
abuse
Prasad. So
politics.
the BJP, of course, believes that the Congress hasn't done anything to protect the Hindus. They'll have to raise sort of issues.
No,
Congress
absolutely.
is
See,
making a charge
absolutely.
that this is an attempt to polarize, and we've seen, of course, multiple leaders say that. Okay, Mr. Prasad, but overall, people as well see through many aspects. They see the facts of what's happening. They know what's best, and the voters, of course, are the last ones to decide. We can debate, we can have our perspectives put forward, but it's the people on the 26th of April, especially southern Karnataka, that will be voting, and whether these sort of issues resonate with them, that will be known on the 4th of June. I'm thanking all our panelists for joining us on this broadcast.